Yo, yo, it's ODB, our lifestyle podcast, issue 48, Mini Truckin Magazine, December of 95. We're going to round out this year, so 95, and this is a fantastic issue. There's some good little bit of insight that I'll give you here before we jump in. Let's go. Again, thanks for everyone's support with our lifestyle podcast. Check us out via any podcast app. Just search OLP. So, don't forget to go to ourlifestylepodcast.com. If you see right here, you can drop that arrow. You can hit aluminum signs. These are the ones that we have left. They're a pretty big size in the grand scheme of things. I know we've recently sold even out of more of these, and there's some fan favorites. People love to display these in their man caves or garage. You can also go over here. I always talk about the official OLP show calendar. I constantly add shows to it, and if you click there, if you've got an iPhone or let you subscribe Android, you have to send an email, and we'll send you the link. It doesn't work for some reason on Android, but let's jump in. So this issue is a really, really good one. A couple things to point out here. We saw Rhonda on the ballistic cover. So what, January 93. She appears on a couple of covers. She also appears on an Auto Silent Security. And I remember when we had Paul Morton on, he kind of talked about, and maybe even Shartsis, he talked about, there were some people that were just easy to work with. They could, schedule, and they would come down, and it just made it easy. And she obviously was one that they worked with a couple of times here. So you can see her there. This is, you got a wire wheel on the cover. So there weren't a lot of covers with wire wheels, although this is an insert photo. We'll talk more about wire wheels in the future. Christmas wish list, which I love. So this kind of ties into the December time period. And you have a couple things going on. So basically, December 95, issue 48, relaxed atmosphere cover. And this is technically Shartsis, and I think Shartsis gets the credit for this one. It might be Carlson too. Rest in peace, Sean Carlson. The last one, 47, it was Shartsis and Carlson for sure. But this is basically issue. So this is basically Shartsis's 16th credited cover. So he ends up with 29. That's about 9.27%. Some of the kind of the details you get, you basically have 9 features. And don't forget Colorado Custom. Those wheels, though, this is their second cover. So the interesting thing is this is Shartsis's vehicle, right? This is his van, which I think is awesome. I've always really enjoyed this issue. The van is super clean, and there's a couple of other things that we'll talk about, of course, here. So if we look here, you've heard about it for months, and it's finally finished. This month's cover selection features our own managing editor's daily means of transportation. A 93 Chevy Astro, 18-inch Colorado Custom wheels, MTX sound system, adding the touch is of class's lovely Rhonda Koch. Camber credits Shartsis. Okay, so if we look here, table of contents, a lot going on. A lot of features in this one, jam-packing them. You got a Christmas wish list, your name here, and then resolutions, and then you got some tech articles. Really, this is like just a golden era of mini trucking. In my opinion, you have some good color photos, great features, studio kind of indoor features, and that type of stuff. You can see here again, rest in peace, Steve Stillwell, still the editor, and you have Shartsis. Basically, Steve is for this issue and the next one, and I think it's technically February of 96, is when it gets handed over. You can see their staff features, what a team. Courtney Halliwell, McCormick, Randall Jackman, we've seen his name a good bit, Sean Carlson, rest in peace, and of course Lance. And then you've got editor contributors Mike Slade, and then Joe Greaves down there. JP Greaves is kind of the way it would sometimes get listed. So a lot of stuff to talk about in this one. Editorial, what to get your favorite mini trucking staff for Christmas. So, little kind of list that they put together there. It's kind of funny, some of the things that you look back and how times have changed. Some of the stuff is still back in, like airwalks, 40 ounce, no straw, 20-inch wheels. I mean, at 20s back in that day, not cheap, I'm sure, right? Considering. So you have this famous wheel ad. Many of us remember looking at this. What wheels bring back memories? I remember watching Menace to Society, seeing the Mustang, seeing the wire wheels. You know, that was just like such a big thing at that time. Different, you know, genres of, you know, lowriders, mini trucking, things like that. Although you didn't see a lot of mini trucks with wire wheels, now it's something you know you'll see, and it's like you don't really think too much about it. You're just like, it's pretty dope. Obsessive Behavior. So our first feature here, showing this really clean S10. Phantom grille, blow through, super clean. Like I said, I spent a lot of time in a truck with that same interior. This is a 91 Cameo. We talked a little bit about Cameos when we had Johnny Garage Johnson on. Shout out to the homie. He has an amazing, really fun YouTube channel. Check him out. Hardcore Garage. Got the Absorber. That thing has still been a fan favorite for many years. You got Snug Top, General Motoring. Some of the most popular mini trucks in the world are Chevy GMCs, and it kind of talks about Snug Top products. T-Rex Step Bumper. Haven't seen one of those in, I don't know, maybe ever. Pretty cool. Here you have Hellfire Gold, Harrison Electronic Systems. You know, alarms were huge back in those days. Here you have California Concepts, and you have a tonneau. But if you look, it's kind of hard to tell. That back window almost looked like it was a flex window where it was like not in there, the one that pops out, the whole window. But I think it's just super clear glass. You got Stinger, of course, still been around all these years. I like this little Santa. Way before Photoshop, you know. I'd be interested to kind of learn how they put these magazines together. I watched on Amazon the Hugh Hefner, I think it was like one season where his son played Hugh Hefner, and it kind of showed how the magazine got started back in the day and that type of thing. And it was interesting on how they put the magazine together, because remember, they didn't have computers. It was all like a manual type process. And, you know, we talked a little bit about that, I think, when Brian McCormick was on, just kind of how, you know, film and things like that, things weren't, you know, instant like they are now with different Dropbox and WeTransfer and all that stuff. Definitely different times. Here, you could always tell, like right around here, the pages would feel a little bit different. I don't know if it was just some of the pages, but I always noticed that they kind of had a more like a paper type feel, like a newspaper type feel, or some of these pages. So you have the Christmas wish list continued from page 16. And this would have been cool, you know, just back in the day, looking through here going, hey, what are some of the new things? Of course, your parents going, hey, what do you want for Christmas? Simply Smoothed. So you got Sean Carlson, Mike Shartsis, and Sir Michaels. I don't know if this is the guy. There's a guy that worked at Sir Michaels. He later went on to be on some of the overhaul ones. I don't know if he worked for Chip Foose. I forget his name. People have told me some of the stories. He was on some of the episodes of overhauling. There you go. Starbucks and Sir Michaels. Fast Freddy's, I always remember this ad. More ads. And then New Level. So Matt Bates of Ohio, someone could chime in, I'm going off memory. This truck was the truck maybe that got redone, that was on the cover, that Shannon Bullis owns now. Chime in and let me know. For some reason, I want to say that truck was from Ohio, and I'm drawing a blank. That I just didn't even think about until I flipped the page, although I have looked at this issue recently. And maybe it is, maybe it's not. It's got the Mustang wheels. And it's got the topless deal. Welcome to the Edge. So you can see this is kind of like an advertisement. And you got a DC to AC power converter. And some weird gadgets. Obviously Christmas time. Kind of like some of the stores in the mall that you kind of go in around Christmas when you can't figure out what to buy someone. All right, so here we got a little bit of history going down with Oregon, the Pacific Northwest. And we get a lot of love from up there, so thanks Jeff and so many people, Brian Marshall, a lot of people going, hey, more PNW, Pacific Northwest. I had to think about that for a second. It's been a long day. Crunching numbers and doing stuff at work. Oregon's main event. Many of you, I'm sure, depending on where you're at, you'll remember this one. But pretty cool there. And for some reason, when I first went to this truck, I know the truck, but I can't remember which one it is at the moment. But classic. See some more coverage here. Even to get a black and white photo would have just been like off the hook, I'm sure. If you guys see things, chime in, or if there's certain trucks, you know, if you can, leave a comment. You know, some people have commented before and said, oh yeah, right at the such and such mark, you know, that was so-and-so's truck. Paper cuts. So this was people that were writing in, asking questions. I used to read these and I was always like, that'd be cool to have yours picked. Sunscreen, stitches, and a mouthful of 2-cycle oil. So Wyatt Strange. We've talked about these. Rest in peace, Courtney. Dazed and Confused. So an Amigo. I had an Amigo. That was my second mini truck. And I spent a lot of days in it because my friend owned it since almost new. I don't think it was brand new when he got his. And after he pretty much ran a course in it, I needed a daily driver back in the day after high school, after I was blowing my S10 apart in the late 90s. And that's what I had. This van was owned by Cain Morris, and it says here, Cain Morris decided to take this Safari to a new level. You see the NC logo, lots of tweed, got the TV, you got the sculpture stuff going on. Really, really cool feature. Cain Morris passed away. I think now it's been 1.5 to 2 years. And, you know, rest in peace to him. Big member of NC. Did not know him. But, of course, this is his 91 GMC Safari you see there. And it was shot by Courtney. We saw a little bit of a preview of it in the table of contents, kind of out looking in towards where they were shooting it in the studio or kind of indoor area. Syndicate Minis and Compacts, you know, some of those guys follow us on social media, so thanks to them, those guys. Here you got some low Mazdas. And this is Summer's Best 95. Courtney Hallowell. Photography was Josh Brown and Courtney. So, you know, Courtney would probably, if he had an opportunity where, you know, someone he knew was at the show, he'd probably say, hey, submit some photos and we'll run them. Here you can see Art of Noise on the back. We've seen that truck before. Kind of a step bumper on the back with a set of famous centerline wheels. Got some wires. They were super popular on Blazers, it seemed, at least here on the East Coast. C-notching your GMC Safari. So Stage 1 Customs. Pretty cool. I don't spend, you know, a lot of time on the tech articles. These videos get a little bit long, and I try to keep them kind of fresh. So for those that do watch all the way through, much appreciated. And Mike's calling, and I'm gonna check on the voicemail. So you got dude, this is pretty cool. You got the Frenched antenna, you have the topper, you have the wire wheels. William T. Wilson, Hickory, North Carolina, 90 Mazda B2200, super clean. It's funny, Tim, I know he watches these. He said the other day, ODB, you can't just be posting Mazdas now. No doubt, brother. The juice is loose. Orange Envy. This is the cover truck. So you see Mike and his wife from Rancho Fontana, Cali, 93 Astro. So Tom Guy did the write-up on it. And pretty cool feature here. You got a little bit of billet going on. Super clean, you know, 4 bucket seats. Love the MTX stuff. I still have an MTX amp in my full size. You've got plenty of tweed for days. The relaxed on the license plate, the RA logo. You've got the split deal where the top opens up, and then you've got the, excuse me, the barn doors on the bottom. Love it. My buddy Paul and I always talk about these Astros, how clean they are. Check this out. One of the cool things in-house at Starbucks Motorsports. So we've had Doug on before, John there did the work using nearly 40 yards of tweed. I remember hearing how much tweed was back in the day, and I was thinking, dang, why is it so expensive? And there's a place in Tampa that still sells it. 18-inch Colorado Customs. Again, the second cover with those. The first was the S10 that had the tilt bed, the Beltec, I think, across the windshield. A very cool feature here. Again, I used to love this stuff. Not really an audiophile like my homie Paul is. We've been down since middle school, but man, just seeing all this stuff, the components, and then, you know, wrapped around tweed and a super clean setup. I mean, this is basically old school at its best. You know, if you were to roll this thing to a show nowadays, dude, people would love it. I mean, Astros and Safaris, man, they've never went out of style. Riding around. Astrophysics. So the popularity of these vans was huge from a stereo perspective, or we had Cope Kessler on. We talked about the Blaupont van shot at Spring Break Nats 97 here in Florida. Of course, Bill Carlton's history with the vans. Event Brian Gendro, I think, was in the mix on the van swaps, going down back in the day. So your name here, if you entered the AIM Industries Build a Dream contest and were one of the winners, then it is. And what they did was they basically came in here and they showed who won. So pretty cool. It kind of reinforced that that real people do win. So how cool would that have been? So you got an old school stereo ad. And then you have here Astronautics. So another van. Again, like I said, I think there's like 9 features in this one. And you have Colorado Custom. You probably were looking through this, you know, back in the day, doing a double take like, hey, I just looked at this feature. But then you started to look and you said, okay, look, it's got tweed, it's got some stereo, it's a different van. And I would have loved this anyways, because Mike Covan's 95 Astro is super clean. And you see Carlson and Shartsis, you know, they were probably able to line these things up. And back in the day, they ran a lot of features in these issues. So to be able to jam-pack these issues, man, it was a good thing. And let's see here. I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So there's calls coming in. There were like messages. So trying to keep these going to get through them. And it's kind of cool because we're finally getting to a period that I didn't know that I would ever get to as far as the 96. Just because it's like, you know, these videos, obviously, like this one's already hinging on 20 minutes. Some of you guys appreciate this. I know some of them, you guys are probably like, man, this is super long. But if you're at work or you're on the road, just let them roll through. Much appreciated. So you got Stinger. I still have some Stinger stuff I'll be running in my car as far as battery terminals and stuff. I could never draw. I've talked about that many times. But I always appreciated the artwork. it was cool that they kept this around for so long. Studio One, so a lifted truck. And you see here, kind of graphics, Kurt Drummond from Austin, Texas, 84, Toyota SR5. Kind of period correct graphics and huge. I mean, look at those Mickey Thompsons, 39 by 18 and a halves. And then 15 by 14 Alcoa wheels. I mean, that's massive. That's like Craig Elder type stuff, man. Insanity. So mini Truckin Street Scene, one of my favorite things, and especially when you get into, like, you know, these being just with so many iconic trucks. I mean, look at this thing. Tilt bed, tonneau cover, Texas tail. You got the little, I don't know if it's a Lund type accessory. Those were, I forget if those were the Razorbacks or if the Razorback was the cab visor, but you know what I'm saying. Super clean truck. You know, some of these, like I said before, could have been, they didn't have enough photos, or maybe all the photos didn't turn out good, or in some cases they didn't have the specs. This one obviously does. Or they just wanted to pack it in more content. If the magazine was selling, it was probably like, hey, more trucks we put in there, the more people are going to buy, hopefully, if their trucks ran. Check out the Isuzu Rodeo, some big old tires. Looks like centerline wheels. So you got Lance. You have these guys going all around the country. The guy looks familiar. You got Courtney and what is it, Shartsis? And then what's in the CD changer? Ice-T, Rhyme Pays, Eric B. and Rakim, Paid in Full. God, I was thinking about CD changers, and I know I brought this up before, but man, that was like before MP3s, you know? And now it's like you just stream on your phone. But, you know, you're like, I got a 10-disc changer, and I've got, you know, 10 CDs, and they're all an hour a piece, and I could, you know, put it on, and some of them did, you know, shuffle. Just crazy how the times have changed. Venomous. So this thing, super clean. Chris Thompson's, Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. My wife grew up not too far from here, Aliquippa, and what was ironic is I went up there. Every time I go up, I try to visit one of my Lincoln friends, and it was kind of surreal because someone that we know up there knew Neil Stark, the Severed member that passed away. And after Neil passed away, I got a chance to see, you know, that he knew some people that my wife knows. Like for instance, my wife's like one of her best friends, her dad, you know, that he was conversating with him on Facebook and posting back and forth. And I just thought to myself, man, what a small world. Rest in peace, Neil Stark. So, there you have it. Another good issue. I'd say another great issue, damn it. That's a great issue right there. Shout out to Shartsis, Steve Stillwell, rest in peace. Sean Carlson, we've lost a lot of good folks. Let's give them their flowers and their respect. Why we're here. You know what I'm saying? ODB, we out here. Peace.